Should you book an Airbnb in Italy or a hotel in Italy? And let me tell you, the answer is not as simple as you might think. Fabulous people, welcome to the podcast for all the babes who create their own life trends. My name is Anastasia, and this podcast is all about inspiring you to relentlessly pursue your biggest dreams and live your most authentic, abundant life. Every time people start planning their trip to Italy, one of the first questions that always comes up is, should you book an Airbnb in Italy or a hotel in Italy? And let me tell you, the answer is not as simple as you might think. I've seen travelers swear by Airbnbs for the so-called authentic Italian experience and end up stuck inside an Italian elevator because they didn't know how to use it. On the other hand, I've seen people book hotels in Rome, Florence, or Venice and realize they spend their entire mornings dressing up just to go downstairs for breakfast, instead of sipping espresso in Italy in their pajamas on their own balcony. So today, I'm breaking it all down for you. Airbnb versus hotels in Italy. Which one is actually the best choice for your Italy vacation? So let's start with Airbnbs in Italy, because I get why people love them. I love them. They promise this idea of living like a local. You get to shop at your neighborhood fresh market, make yourself a nice cup of espresso in the morning, and maybe even hear buongiorno from your neighbors when you step outside. And if you have a vacation in Italy that lasts, let's say, longer than a week, which is pretty much the case for most travelers, after a while, it gets pretty tiring to go out every single night, at least for me. If I have to go out to a restaurant every single evening for, let's say, 2 weeks, at some point I'm going to start feeling like it is something that I have to do rather than something that I want to do. For example, recently we planned a trip for a couple. And when we started discussing their accommodation preference for Florence in particular, they said, Anastasia, we definitely want to stay at the Airbnb in Florence. And the reason for it is that we have this vision that we will wake up in the morning and go to a fresh market, pick up a nice Florentine steak, a bottle of red wine, and then in the evening we're going to come home and make ourselves a really nice dinner. We're going to dance in the kitchen, we're going to cook it together, we're going to have our time together as a couple. And then we're going to enjoy this delicious dinner on our private terrace. I mean, how can you say no to that? And just overall, Airbnbs, be it in Rome, Venice, Florence, Milan, they're just more practical. You get a lot of space comparing to a standard room in a hotel. And a lot of times you can also get a private balcony or a private terrace. And most of our clients always ask us to include at least one accommodation with the washing machine. Because if you're staying in Italy for 10 days or 2 weeks, you definitely want to do your laundry at least once. Another big advantage of renting an Airbnb, especially if you're traveling to Italy as a family or a group of friends, is that you don't have to separate in different hotel rooms. You can just rent one beautiful apartment and spend a lot of quality time together outside of sightseeing. There is also the budget factor. For longer stays, especially with more than 2 people, Airbnbs in Italy can often work out cheaper than hotels. Plus, they give you more flexibility. If you want to have breakfast in your boxers or lounge around in your pajamas, you can do it. There is no need to be fully dressed up just to go for breakfast. It feels casual, comfortable, and like your own little Italian home. But of course, for travelers who want to be fully taken care of, hotel offers the most perfect solution. Staying in a hotel in Italy is a completely different experience. First, you have the catered convenience. Need a cab? Someone at the front desk will call one for you. Don't feel like doing your own laundry? Someone will take care of that. And the best part, which is also my favorite part, you don't need to worry about daily cleaning. It is all done for you. And then there are the facilities. A hotel in Rome, Florence, Milan, or Venice usually comes with breakfast included, which is one of the best things about waking up in Italy. Many also have on-site restaurants, cozy bars, maybe even a pool or a spa, things you won't find in most Airbnbs. Hotels in Italy also deliver something that a lot of travelers overlook: the experience factor. Let's take the Tuscan countryside retreats, for example. Many are now adults-only villas where you wake up, step outside into your private garden, and breakfast is brought right to your table. It feels like your own holiday home, but with all the hotel perks layered on top. One of my favorite family-run retreats in Tuscany, and I actually featured it in both of my full guides to Montepulciano. If you guys haven't seen them yet, I will make sure to leave them for you in the description down below. And as most of you know, Montepulciano is one of my absolute favorite parts of Tuscany. I love, 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 love that town. And that property, besides offering just six rooms, each with its own private entrance and the most stunning garden overlooking rolling hills of Tuscany and the most incredible delicious breakfast, it also offers a private dining experience inside a wine cellar that the family restored when they bought that property. Actually, the entire property, guys, is restored by that family. It is truly a labor of love. Definitely make sure to check out those videos. You guys will just fall in love with it. Even before you arrive there, you will fall in love with it because you will see and you will feel the passion and the love that that family has for that property. But that private dining experience is only available to the guests of the retreat, so you are not able to book it if you're not staying on the property. And during the dinner, you will be served the most incredible seasonal dishes prepared by your private chef, who is also the owner of the property, and he traveled all over the world, worked for some of the best restaurants in the world, and he took all those techniques and brought them to Montepulciano, to his retreat, and implemented them in every single dish that you will experience. Guys, that dinner alone is worth for you traveling to Montepulciano, traveling to Tuscany. Just trust me on that one. And every single dish prepared with the seasonal local ingredients will be paired with local wines. Guys, I already honestly cannot wait to go back. It's truly always the highlight of my year to go and stay at that retreat and enjoy that dining experience. If you want another unforgettable example, it is staying in one of the caves. Yes, you heard it. Not in Santorini, but in Matera. If you've never heard of Matera, I highly recommend taking a closer look for your Italy itinerary. It's considered the oldest continuously inhabited city in Italy and one of the oldest in the entire world. Guys, it is simply incredible. You have to see Matera at least once with your own eyes. So many movies have been filmed there throughout the years, from The Passion of the Christ to James Bond, No Time to Die. And I know some of you are sitting right now and saying, oh, it was filmed in Matera. Yes, guys, it was all filmed in Matera. And trust me, It looks exactly like in the movie. You have to see it with your own eyes. And one of my favorite hotels in Matera, it's actually a cave hotel. So yes, you're literally staying inside the cave. It is such a unique experience. And of course, I will make sure to leave you the link to my full guide on Matera in the description down below. There, I will show you everything you need to know about Matera, where to eat, where to stay, what to do. It is just packed with information and practical tips. There is just so much there. Definitely do not ignore Matera, guys. This is such a hidden gem of Italy. A hidden gem because not so many people from the US actually know about it. So definitely put it on your radar. And what is so interesting about those cave hotels in Matera is that a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, including my favorite hotel, and of course you guys will find all the information on that hotel in my full guide on Matera. They do not have doors inside the caves. So there is really not much privacy. So just keep that in mind. I don't know how close you are as a family or as a couple if you plan on traveling to Matera and staying in one of those caves, which is to me one of the most incredible experiences. But the hotels, they wanted to preserve the original structure of the cave. And they wanted for you to feel like living in a cave in old days, how people lived in those caves decades ago. So, of course, they made sure to preserve the structure in its original shape and form without installing modern things. So just be prepared, guys. I don't know how close you are with your partners, but for example, I had to kick out Pierre out of the cave at least a few times a day. Now, don't let that description scare you off, because trust me, this is one of the most incredible, unique experiences you can have these days in this modern world with technology and everything. Is just nice, guys. It's just nice because the rooms are installed, of course, with all the modern amenities, but they wanted to preserve, of course, the original feel of how it would feel to be in those caves many, many decades ago. Now, in addition to this truly unique experience of staying in a cave, they also serve the most delicious daily breakfast with all the local products of Matera. So you will truly experience the best local, authentic cheeses and meats and pies and cakes. Guys, that buffet in that place is simply incredible. And it doesn't end here. In that retreat/hotel, you can have a private dining experience. And when I say private, I mean it's just you. Just one table in the middle of deconcentrated church, all lit up by beautiful candles, with the classic music playing on the background. And during the colder months, they also lit up the fireplace. Guys, it is pure magic. Now, very important tip, guys, this is important, that I have for you for that specific experience is do not eat a lot that day. The biggest mistake I've made that day was to have a panini for lunch. I had panini with focaccia and mozzarella and mortadella, and then I arrived to that incredible once-in-a-lifetime experience. Not very hungry. I could eat, but I wasn't starving. And guys, the courses started coming out, one after another, and I knew about it, but I didn't realize how big were the portions. The portions were huge, guys, and they were coming out one after another. The wine was pouring, and in my head, the only regret that I had was that panini and why I ate anything that day. So just be prepared. And if you're going to do this incredible, truly once in a lifetime experience, just come hungry. No, scratch that. Come very hungry. Otherwise, the entire meal, you will be regretting the choices you made earlier the day. That's all I'm going to say about it. And finally, I cannot wrap up this hotel chapter without mentioning all-inclusive resorts in Italy. And I know those of you who are new to my YouTube channel or are new to this podcast, you're saying, what? All-inclusives in Italy? Yes, guys, we have amazing all-inclusive resorts in Italy from north to south. And if you're surprised, I definitely recommend for you to go and watch an episode where I specifically talk about all-inclusives in Italy. You will be surprised, guys. You will be surprised. But those all-inclusive resorts in Italy, if you find a really, really good one, they offer the most incredible experience because you have everything included: accommodations, spa, different curated tours and experiences, and of course, dining. You can usually select if you want full board or half board, but guys, that's a whole separate chapter, and that is why I created a specific full episode just on all-inclusives in Italy. So definitely check it out if you haven't watched or haven't listened to that specific episode. So when you add it all together, hotels in Italy offer the perfect blend of comfort, service, and unforgettable moments that make a trip truly special. Now, with all these different experiences, from boutique villas in Tuscany to cave hotels in Matera, the real question becomes, how do you decide between an Airbnb and a hotel for your trip? And the answer comes down to two things: how long you are staying and where in Italy you are going. If you are in the big cities like Rome, Florence, Milan, Venice, hotels almost always win, especially for shorter stays of 2 or 3 nights. They're reliable, central, and save you from the hustle of figuring out all the logistics: apartment keys, hosts, or check-ins. Unless, of course, you work with a bespoke travel agency like mine. And then, of course, we take care of all those things for you. Now, if you're staying for 4 nights or longer, then Airbnb starts making a lot of sense because at that point, you really want to spread out. Space starts to matter a lot. So, of course, Airbnb with the washing machine gives you a great opportunity to do that. And it just makes sense, as I mentioned earlier, for families or groups of friends, because it's much easier to be together this way instead of being spread out in different hotel rooms. And then there is the Italian countryside, places like Tuscany or Umbria. Here, villas and countryside retreats give you the best of both worlds. You get that home-like feeling of staying in your own holiday house, but many of these properties also include breakfast, housekeeping, or even a private chef's. It's a blend of freedom and service that makes the experience feel effortless. So the real secret is not just choosing Airbnb or a hotel everywhere. It's about knowing what works best depending on your destination and how long you're staying there. So after years of planning trips all across Italy, here is a simple formula that I always come back to. If you're staying at any given location 2 to 3 nights, then a hotel is almost always a smarter choice, because it is reliable, it is central, and you do not have to waste time on figuring out the logistics. If you're staying somewhere for 4 nights or longer, then an Airbnb or a countryside villa in Tuscany almost always works better, because it will give you more space, more comfort, and that nice home away from home feeling. In fact, many of the trips that we design at my Fabulous Vita travel agency combine both. For example, a couple of nights at a beautiful boutique hotel in Florence, followed by a villa retreat in Tuscany. This way, travelers get both convenience and immersion in one seamless trip. So in the end, it's not about choosing Airbnb versus hotels in Italy across the board. It's about knowing when and where each one makes sense. The best choice isn't universal. It's about designing your trip around the rhythm you want. And that's exactly what we do at Fabulous Vita. We design bespoke trips to Italy, Greece, and France. From handpicked accommodations and private transportation to curated tours, unique activities, and even restaurant reservations, we take care of it all. Our clients don't just get a trip, they experience a journey designed around their needs and preferences, one that feels effortless, personal, and unforgettable. And of course, if you're dreaming of your own Italian escape, then I will make sure to leave you the link to the concierge service of my Fabulous Vita travel agency in the description down below. And before you go, you already know what I'm going to ask. If you had a choice between an Airbnb and a hotel in Italy, which one would you choose and why? Please share with me in the comments down below. I would absolutely love to know. And if you're just as passionate as I am about exploring this incredible world, don't just listen, join me. Make sure to smack that subscribe button, whether you're listening on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Let's explore this beautiful world together, one unforgettable story at a time.